Everyone, it's Jimbo with the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm on my way to another appointment, and so I thought I would jump in here and talk about my new side hustle. Now, the whole reason I even started the podcast, even really why I started my detailing business, was it was always a side hustle to my main thing that I had going on until it replaced my main thing. So when I started my detailing business, I was going to school full-time because I started at 19, and then but I was also working at a restaurant, and then I started this little side hustle in a detailing business until that detailing business became my full-time gig back in May of 2008. But since then, I've constantly been on the hunt for multiple streams of income, and this dates back to I can remember very vividly. I was a junior in high school, went to a house party that the parents happened to be at, which is a total buzzkill when you're in high school and you go to a house party with the parents there. Anyway, but I remember it was this kind of a ritzy neighborhood, this massive house, had the pool, the frickin' everything, right? And the dad was in like these velour pants that were kind of not see-through, but they were like white. Anyway, the whole idea was the guy was freaking obviously ballin' hardcore, right? So, and this was back, let's see, probably 2004, 2005. So before really like major technology to consumers had really boomed, right? And what I remember so vividly is he had like this remote control, because back then like remote controls were super cool, that would control multiple TVs or your whole sound system or your surround sound, all that. And so it was in his pocket, and I was always really fascinated by like what people's parents did for a living or for work. And so but this guy's pocket was like lighting up, you know, and he was kind of a weird dude, but that's besides the point. And I said, whoa, what the heck is that in your pocket? You know, it's freaking lighting up your whole pocket. This is like before iPhones, before iPads. So it's pretty crazy to have like his pocket lighting up with some sort of device. And he said, oh, it controls my whole house. And I was like, holy crap. I was really taken back. Like, what do you mean it controls your whole house? You know? And so my next question, which was always a question, is like, well, what the frig do you do for work to be able to afford all this, you know? Because at the time I'm working at In-N-Out. At that time I was working at In-N-Out Burger. And he goes, oh, I own multiple businesses. And right in that instant, I don't know why, I don't know what clicked, but I was like, boom, that's what I'm doing for my life. Because I always knew I wanted to own my own business. I just never knew what it was. And I've talked a lot about that on the podcast, and kind of detailing was the first thing that popped up that I saw could be a viable business. But when that guy said I own multiple businesses, that was my cue to like, yep, I found it clicked something in my head of like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I've always had that in my mind of I'm going to own multiple businesses, and I'm going to own multiple businesses. So though this channel and everything I've talked about for now has pretty much been revolved around detailing, my thought pattern in my life really, it consists so much more of stuff than just detailing. And even within the detailing stuff that I talk about, a lot of it has to do with like the business side of things and all that. And I've tried to restrain some of that because it's not as sexy, it's not as lucrative, it's not as even as popular on stuff like YouTube and stuff like that. But what's been going on in the background throughout my whole detailing career is that I've always had little side hustles, and yet I even talk about this within the detailing space, and I've talked about it on my podcast with diversifying your services. So, and we're starting to see a lot of it where detailers will open up shops, or they'll bring in different services like paintless dent repair. They'll bring in clear bras, becoming a really popular one. They'll bring in all these different services that relate to cars, but revolve around detailing. So it's all diversification, right? And that's really, as I started to grow my detailing business and to realize certain things that I didn't want, right? So a lot of people say, well, why don't you scale up your detailing business? Because I don't want employees. I don't want to deal, it's hard enough to deal with customers. I don't want to deal with employees. I don't want to shop because I don't want that overhead. I don't want that monthly nut to crack. So there's all these things that I've learned over the course of the 9 years detailing cars that I don't want. And in fact, I knew stuff like that before. You know, every time I worked at another job, there were things that I didn't like about that job. So In-N-Out Burger, I didn't like wearing the uniform. When I worked at a surf shop, I didn't like the pay, and I didn't like how they were running the things. I thought I could run it better. So every time I worked somewhere or had a job, there were things that I knew that I could do better, or would hope that I could do better, or things that I didn't like about that industry or about that niche or whatever. And this is becoming a long diatribe from what I really wanted the video to be about. But the purpose is that my life consists of a lot more than just detailing cars. And so that's what I want to start to funnel through this channel, is those different streams of income that I've either tried and failed, because we all have failures. And I'm a big fan of making fun of myself first before anyone else can. And so not a big failure because it ended up breaking even, but it was too hard to manage and continue. Was an odor removal business specializing in like houses and apartments and townhomes. That worked really well in the like downtown LA region, but me being down in Orange County, that's a lot of traffic and a lot of time to dedicate towards that. But that was a really lucrative, really extremely profitable when there was work business. The downside to me there was so much travel, and also these machines would have to be set up for hours at a time, so there was big gaps in my day. Anyway, the side hustle that I'm super excited about now, and the one that I want to take and dedicate a lot more time to, and really the reason why I did it on this channel instead of starting a whole new channel was that I really think detailers in general are constantly looking for side hustles to do. And so that's what this is to me. It's just a side hustle. It's not my full-time thing. It meets all my requirements of really low overhead, really low startup costs, no employees. I can manage it from my phone, because that's one thing as we're dealing with this colder weather, and it's 59 degrees for me right now here in Southern California. That's why I'm bundled up in 2 jackets and a shirt, 3 layers, because it's really cold at 60 degrees, 59 to be exact. Anyway, as it gets colder and rainier and snowier for some people in different parts of the country and different parts of the world, to be frank, and this side hustle kind of can work anywhere really. As business slows down and you look for ways to kind of bring in different income and different side hustles, but you don't want something that's kind of all consuming, this is the side hustle that I've chose that I'm really excited about, and I could see a lot of growth potential. And that's Amazon FBA, or Fulfilled by Amazon. And there's a few different ways. Basically what it is selling items on Amazon, right? So whether you sell them under your own company name, whether you go out and find discounted liquidation items and resell them on Amazon, similar like to an eBay, or whatever it may be. The point is that you're leveraging Amazon's platform to sell things and take a small profit. Now, sometimes that profit can be very small, sometimes that profit can be very big. There's a ton of gurus on YouTube, especially selling courses and all that, and claiming that they're making millions of dollars, which they may, I don't know. But all I want to share with you is how I do it, and how it's generating a few $1,000s a month currently right now within the past 6 months, from zero. Now, it's funny because Amazon FBA, or Fulfilled by Amazon, which basically means every time you buy something Prime, that's fulfilled by Amazon. It could be a third-party seller. It could be sold by Amazon. And we could go through on how to know the difference, and that's really what I want to dive into. But more than anything, I just want to share how I'm doing it, because I think that's how when I started the whole detailing podcast, that's what it was. It's just sharing how I do it. Now, not saying it's the right way, not saying it's going to be a way to make $1 million. It's just how I'm doing it. So we're gonna go through how I find products. A lot of what people talk about on YouTube channels is how to private label their own products. So buying them, having them made somewhere, whether that be China, America, whatever, branding it themselves and then selling it on Amazon as their own branded product. I do a little bit of that currently. Some people will go out to say like Target, Walmart, TJ Maxx, places like that, find discounted items that say maybe on sale for 75% off. They'll take them, if they're in the correct packaging, they look brand new, and they will take those, buy them from TJ Maxx, Amazon, Walmart, whatever, and resell them on Amazon. That's called retail arbitrage. And then there's a little tiny niche that I'm seeing most success with right now that I don't see very many people talk about, and that is wholesaling on Amazon. So picking a brand that is well established already in the marketplace in general. So for detailers, maybe it's Meguiar's, right? And becoming a wholesaler for the Meguiar's brand, buying it at a wholesale price, and then reselling on Amazon, which would essentially be a form of retail arbitrage, right? But instead of having to go out and find, you know, I'm not a big fan because it takes so much time to, you know, go to these stores and find all the crap and resend it in and package it correctly and all that. I like items that I can buy consistently, that sell consistently, and they're already pretty much packaged for me. I just have to do a couple little things, label it correctly, and then it can go. So that's where I'm seeing the most success right now, is wholesaling items for brands that are already well established. There's definitely some risk on that front of Amazon, in fact, undercutting you directly. We'll get into all that later. Basically, I just wanted this video to be a side hustle that I'm doing right now that I wanted to share with you guys, and kind of really dedicate some extra time to that. And again, instead of dedicating a whole separate channel and then having these multiple channels going, I really just wanted to bring it under one channel. Excuse me, because my life does consist of mainly detailing, but also all these other aspects of detailing, or excuse me, of my life that I want to share, because it's fun and maybe someone else will glean info out of it. Obviously, I don't claim to be a guru of any of these things. It's just simply what I'm doing. So I hope you find some value in that. So the next few videos will be intertwined with detailing and kind of my Amazon FBA little side hustle. I call it a side hustle, and again, I'm dedicating probably 10 hours a month to this, so it's a very small time commitment. But I just want to show you my processes and how I do it. So I hope you guys will enjoy these videos. I hope I won't get scolded at the stake for taking it away from detailing a little bit, but it could be all related to detailing all at the same time. So again, hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys get some value out of it. See you on the next one.